It's 2020 and I still see people talking into the head of the microphone like this. It's not an omnidirectional stage mic. It's not how this works. It's not how any of this works. What's up everybody? Welcome back to Todd, where we talk tech and personal finance for now. I'm your host Kyle, and in this video we're going to be talking about the infamous A-list celebrity, the Blue Yeti USB microphone, in another segment of I review old stuff because I ain't got money like that. If you're unfamiliar with Blue, the company, not the color, they make a range of mid to premium grade microphones and microphones accessories, from USB to studio professional recording. The Yeti is just one of their USB condenser mics and is the Goldilocks of the bunch, if you will. It fits right into the middle of their price range at $130 and is largely their most popular microphone. Blue goes as far as to say it's the world's #1 USB microphone. I bought my Yeti in 2014 when I knew very little about microphones, and I actually only paid $106 in the pre-tax Amazon days. I'm going to talk about how it's held up over the 6 years of me owning mine and the nuances I've learned along the way. First, when you buy a Blue Yeti, you obviously get the mic itself, you get a tabletop mic stand, and a 6.6 foot USB cord. So let's look at the design. You'll notice right away the premium feel and heft of the microphone assembly. The entire stand and mic are made of solid metal, minus the plastic adjustment knobs and the foam padding on the bottom of the stand for dampening sound and vibrations from the table's surface. The mic and stand weigh about 3.5 pounds together and stand over a foot tall. Most of the weight is in the stand and base, so it stays planted on a surface pretty well. On the bottom you have the mini USB port, a standard 3.5mm headphone jack for low latency monitoring, and a 5/8 inch 27 standard thread mount for mic stands. On the front you have the volume adjuster for headphones plugged directly into the mic and a single press mute button. The back is where you will find the gain adjustment knob, which controls the mic input levels. Below that you will find the coolest part of the Yeti, the feature that makes it so widely popular, the polar pattern selector. This knob is different from the gain and volume knobs because it's not a free range motion. It's a snap to select, which could be problematic if needing to change a pattern while recording, in which case you should utilize the mute button. The two knobs on the left and right side of the mic are for position adjustment. The base, although it has grooves, looks like it rotates, but it does not. The interior notables that I will go further into are the fact that it has a headphone amplifier built in and is powered off of one USB port. Most importantly though is what makes the polar patterns possible, the 3 condenser capsules in the head of the mic. So I'll give design a 4.5 out of 5 for reasons I will discuss shortly. I would like to have seen a minimalist type shock mount, much like you see on shotgun video mics. The padding on the bottom just isn't enough, and it's also pretty dang big. Recording quality. So I figure what better way to talk about recording quality than to actually let you hear the recording quality. So I'm gonna be recording on both my Yeti and my shotgun microphone that I have for my camera, and just let you hear the difference as I let you hear both in playback. So right now I have the Yeti set at about 40% of gain, and I have it on cardioid. So you can hear that actually sounds pretty good. In the audio recording world, there's no truer proverb than crap in, crap out, and the Yeti overall sounds good. I haven't had major issues with recording sounding unclear besides when using the mic for something it wasn't meant for, like recording a speech from several feet away. It works much better up close. Optimal will be about 6 inches away from your mouth. If using for vocal applications anywhere under that 12-inch range, you may want to consider getting a pop filter to control those pesky plosives like Bob's Burgers. All of my recording scenarios were using the cardioid pattern, as it was the most appropriate for picking up inputs from the front of the mic and rejecting much of the booty input. Some call the cardioid pattern a heart, but it's a butt. I originally bought the Yeti for recording vocals because I was supposed to be a rap star. It was a huge upgrade from using my PlayStation Eye video camera microphone array. Go figure. It cut out a lot of the electronic noise, aka that buzzing heard in recordings, even when nothing is being said. but it still picked up a lot of the ambient noise and reflections even from the butt end, which will mostly be unavoidable in a room that is not sound dampened. In other words, 90% of people will hear echoes or even computer fans depending on your system. Leading me to my next point, that it is very sensitive. Picking up minute details is typical of condenser mics, but this seems to be hypersensitive. Picking up minute details is typical of condenser mics, but it seems to be hypersensitive no matter the gain level. That can sometimes be annoying. As my creative interests have changed over the years, I began to use the mic for vlogging here on YouTube, which proved to be a totally different experience. I never wanted my mic to be in the shot, so I bought a cheap stage mic stand just to hold the mic out of view. Although it worked, with the mic being further away, the more room it picked up. To minimize the recording of things that I didn't want heard, I had to reduce the gain, which I thought worked until I got to editing and realized my voice is far too faint, so I raised the gain in production, which sounds like boo-boo. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that until later. Again, crap in, crap out. If you don't believe me, you can go back and check some of my older videos out. It was from making YouTube videos where I found that there's still a lot of electronic noise, however. When playing audio clips over musical tracks, that buzz gets drowned out. But when it's just you and you're saying nothing, it's... that kind of sucks. When conditions are right, the Yeti gives great recordings, but could definitely use some refinement with newer circuitry that has surely been developed in the last 11 years since its introduction to the market, and surely at the same price point. Functionality. It's almost unfair how simple this is to set up as compared to an XLR microphone that goes through an audio interface and some requiring phantom power. It's plug and play, there's no driver that needs to be downloaded, you plug it in, you wait for it to load, and maybe you have to change the input-output settings, but it's that simple. If you're new to this like I was, then you may not know what the term monitoring is. It is the capability of hearing the inputs a microphone is receiving through speakers as the input is generating the sound. AKA, you hear what is being said or played in real time. So little to no latency is ideal, or else you would hear the audio multiple times. Blue claims zero latency. Whether that's truly zero? I don't really know, because I don't have the ear to hear it, but it works. I hear myself in real time, but this also suffers from the same electronic noise that I mentioned before. I could blame that on the headphones, but when I plug the same headphones into my audio interface with a separate mic, that level of buzz is not heard. But the beauty of this is, I don't need an audio interface to have monitoring, because it's built in. So you can buy this and save $200 without having to buy a decent audio interface and cables because it's built in. Now for the stand. If you design something to stand on a tabletop, desktop, tube top, or any top, whatever it is, you would think that the functionality of said top would be considered, but I feel constrained when it's on my desk. Why? Because any bump or brush against the desk travels through the desk and into the mic. Again, it hears everything. That's why I say I wish there was some type of shock mount in the stand like you would see in many hot shoe mounted video mics. This is me tapping it very lightly, light enough that I don't even hear the tap with my own ear. This is me giving the same amount of tap to my video mic that has a shock mount. Patterns. It's super dope that I can have one mic to accomplish multiple functions. It's like having 4 mics in one if I so need them. But again, I've only really used cardioid. Here are the polar patterns that you get with the Yeti. Cardioid, bidirectional, stereo, and omnidirectional. I'll level with you. I don't hear a difference between cardioid, bidirectional, and omnidirectional when monitoring. I don't know if that's because I've had the Yeti for 6 years and it has taken many L's and has dislodged something, or that it doesn't pick up well in monitoring. So I'm gonna let you decide. I've set up this simple test, so you let me know in the comments if you can hear the polarity differences. But for right now, I give all the functionality 4 out of 5. Durability. Did I mention that I've had this for 6 years? And with all the L's that it's taken, there's no dents, there's no scratches. There are a couple scuff marks, but all in all, it still works. I think. I just really don't know if the pattern selection and or the monitoring is or isn't defective, nor if or when that happened. I don't know if it came like this or not. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the market for reviewing things 6 years ago, and I guess the only way that I could know for sure is if I bought a new Yeti and compared, but I don't need to right now as this is not even my primary mic anymore. Since there is that unknown though, I don't really want to discredit the Yeti, but for structural rigidity, I definitely would give it a 5 out of 5. Again, it's all metal construction and the thing is built like a tank because it has fallen from at least 5 feet high on the head of it, no dents. It's pretty impressive. Lastly, the app. The Blue Sharper computer application I don't believe was available when I purchased my Yeti. But I played with it for like half an hour during this review and it's decent. I'm not really including it in the overall review, but I will use it to reiterate my last point that the on-body gain control doesn't seem to have a lot of range and input sensitivity. But the Sharper app can give you some extra control over that, as well as an additional control for headphone volume and the monitoring levels. All in all, this is a very versatile USB mic, probably the most, and it is very easy to use. Between its on-body adjustments, including the polar patterns, built-in monitoring, and sturdy construction, it's a great choice for $130. But its versatility may stop there considering its size, which adds difficulty say you want something to travel with. While it does have noticeable electronic buzzing, I would still recommend it to any beginning vocal recorder. Other considerations would be the Blue Yeti Snowball and the more recently introduced Blue Yeti Nano. Neither of those will have the bidirectional nor stereo patterns, but are much smaller and lighter. Links to those are in the description. Hey there, I'm Future Kyle. Seems the young lad is what they would call tripping. Looks like he failed to mention the Elgato Wave 3, which is newly introduced, as well as the Yeti X. Links to the both of those will be in the description. Bye-bye for now. Thanks for watching, y'all. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification and thumbs up if you want to support. Leave comments if you have questions. Deuces.
Is the elephant heavy? I'm coming back, baby.